It's the third day on the Traitors, and yesterday, Neymar was banished by Theo's one and only vote, removing a major social player from the game. Then, the Traitors had to select their next victim. We're about to find out who that victim is, and how it will change people's suspicions of each other. First to enter the breakfast room is Morel, and she goes and takes her seat and grabs herself some food to eat. In confessional, Morel says she's feeling a lot better than before. Her and Janine had a nice conversation right before bed where they would stop arguing with each other to keep the heat away from them. It's the smartest move for them right now, so she's glad Janine has a decent strategic mind for this game. Back in the room, Morel watches the door, and Colleen enters next, happily saying good morning to Morel. She sits down and Morel asks her how she's feeling in the game, and Colleen says she is almost certain now that Archer is a traitor. His actions yesterday prove it. In confessional, Colleen says her negative read on Archer is starting to make sense. Archer is a hardcore player who knows how to lie, and that's why everyone should try getting him out as soon as possible. In the room, Morel shares that she is trying to make sense of the murders and banishments as time goes on, so hopefully today's murder gives her more insight on the type of game the Traitors are playing. Soon after, Mari is the next to enter the room, followed by Gianna and then Devin not too long after. They all cheer for their survival of the night, and in confessional, Devin says he's not happy whatsoever after last night's banishment. Neymar became a close friend of his in here, so seeing her go home because of pure stupidity on many of the players' parts makes him want to leave real soon. He doesn't care about finding the Traitors anymore. He's going to play real personally. Back in the room, Devin asks the group if they think Theo was controlled into voting out Neymar. Mari doesn't think Theo was controlled necessarily. He said himself he didn't want to make his decision on his own. He wanted to hear people out, and the points against Neymar made a lot of sense. Devin says he doesn't think those points were logical enough to get her sniped out of the game like that. She was completely blindsided at the banishment room. In confessional, Mari states that it's becoming really clear that Devin takes this game way too personally. He's freaking out over a stranger he met a few days ago, meaning he'll have to go if he becomes a liability to this faithful team. Back in the room, Holly is the next to enter, doing a dance to celebrate her survival. Later on, Franco is next, followed by Brandon and then Theo shortly after. Theo immediately apologizes to everyone for voting Neymar out, and Colleen tells him it's all good. Everyone forgives him since he had a tough choice on his hands no matter what. In confessional, Theo says that he has to humble himself more and more in this game because if he ever comes off overconfident, especially in front of another faithful, that could get him in trouble. At the moment, people feel bad for his own mistake, which is perfect for his game going forward. Hopefully, his traitor team can back him up today if he's in trouble once again. Back in the breakfast room, Krista is next to enter and Franco says he's glad to see her. She thanks everyone for the warm welcome and sits down. Janine then enters the room, and not a lot of people are as thrilled as they were to see Krista walk in. Winston walks in next, followed by Parker, and then soon after, Liam. Parker states that they are still waiting on 8 people. Gabby, Minnie Marie, Archer, Clara, Sebastian, Russell, Peggy, and Fee. As he says that, Clara walks into the room next and everyone cheers as she comes in. In confessional, Clara loves how she gets to walk into the breakfast room a second time now. Things are going fine to say the least. She's sad they lost a faithful last night and are possibly losing another again, but there is still so much time left to find these traitors. Right now, she's feeling like she has to reassess her suspicion list, and her eyes are on the people who gunned hard for Neymar at the banishment, including Krista, Minnie Marie, and Theo. Back in the room, Archer walks in next, leaving just Gabby, Minnie Marie, Sebastian, Russell, Peggy, and Fee yet to walk in. Franco tells Holly he hopes Gabby walks in, and Holly agrees. She hopes Russell also walks in because he's an icon to her. In confessional, Franco of course knows Gabby is surviving the night with her shield that she informed him of. He just doesn't want to tell anyone until she walks in to see how people act if she was chosen by the traitors to die last night. Back in the room, Fee walks in next, and Minnie Marie follows shortly after. Minnie Marie sits down and fixes her hair, and then Janine tells her from across the table that people are starting to think she could be the traitor based on last night's banishment. Minnie Marie, who is still half asleep right now, tells everyone that she barely got any sleep last night because she felt so horrible for Neymar. She hopes people can move past this because it's easy for her to become the next obvious target at these banishments. Fee holds her hand and tells her not to worry too much. In confessional, Fee talks about how he cares so much for a lot of the people here. Seeing someone like Minnie Marie get pressed so much over her activeness in the game is heartbreaking to see. If anything, people like Janine and Peggy need to be banished next. The next to enter the room is Sebastian, and everyone claps as he enters. However, Devin isn't too happy to see him, and in his confessional, Devin says he's not happy with Sebastian because he thought he was best friends with him and Neymar. Best friends defend each other, and that's something Sebastian failed to do at the banishment when Neymar got jumped by other players. This could be a clue to him being a traitor himself, so that's someone on his high suspect list. Back in the room, Gabby walks in next, very happy to have survived the night. She sits down and has her food, and in her confessional, Gabby says there's no reason for her to reveal her shield to the rest right now. She wants to use this as an opportunity to work with Theo as secret partners. Nobody needs to know that he saved her life in this game. Back in the room though, Mari asks Theo if he gave the shield to either of the people remaining, those being Peggy and Russell. Theo says no though, so Mari asks him who he gave it to. He then reveals he gave it to Gabby, and Gabby laughs and smiles, saying this is true. Though, she's not happy that this information came out. Clara then tells the group that she thinks this has to be a Russell murder because Peggy wouldn't make any sense. Mari says it wouldn't make sense at all if Russell walked in here, and lo and behold, Russell walks in last, meaning Peggy was the one murdered. Everyone is in complete shock, and in confessional, Parker says that this murder has rocked the whole castle. So many people thought Peggy was the traitor, but she just got murdered, confirming it wasn't her. It might cause more chaos now that she's gone. In a flashback, Peggy enters the confessional room finding a letter sitting on her chair, and she opens it. She finds out she was the one murdered, meaning she is out of the game for good. Peggy says that she's quite surprised the traitors killed her, despite so many people already hating her. It was possibly a dumb move for them because she was an easy banishment option every day. However, she stood no chance in this game anyway, so it is what it is. Back in the room, Janine even admits that this murder makes no sense, and then Mari points out that Janine must have murdered Peggy to make it seem like she would never kill her own friend. Janine tells Mari to piss off, but Mari says that this has to be the case. Janine tells Mari to go back to her delusional land where she belongs. She has no place here if she's just going to point fingers with random reasoning. With Peggy being the confirmed victim of last night's traitor attack, the whole castle is confused, which is perfect for the 4 traitors right now. On the upper terrace, Gabby, Colleen, Sebastian, Russell, Parker, Janine, and Archer have a chat about Peggy's murder, and Gabby says that it just doesn't make any sense to her why the traitors killed Peggy. Janine says that Mari's reasoning for it being her was absolute crap, and Parker tells her to stop getting stuck on that. She just needs to ignore it and move on. Archer says that it's very clear now that the traitors want to confuse everyone and get them thinking who would kill Peggy, but that shouldn't be their strategy for this round. This was clearly a random kill on purpose, so whoever did this may have had no connection to Peggy at all. Russell still thinks that Archer is the traitor though, and Archer asks him very seriously to provide proper reasoning for his assumption. Russell says that he's coming up with these strange theories that nobody would ever come up with unless they thought about them beforehand. Archer says that he just has the mind of a gamer which nobody else can compare to. In confessional, Russell says that he's still stuck on it being Archer. His approach to the game is way different to other people, so being the odd one out makes him more likely to be a traitor. In the meantime, Clara, Franco, Devin, and Liam chat, and Devin tells the other three that he's starting to think one of the traitors is Sebastian. Neymar, Sebastian, and himself made a trio together on day one, and they agreed to have each other's backs. Yet, Sebastian did nothing to help vouch for Neymar at the banishment. Franco tells him that he gets nothing out of Sebastian. He's too quiet right now, which isn't helping the faithful. He also tells Liam to speak up more because he's not giving much to them, and Liam apologizes that he's too quiet. He'll try to speak up more. In confessional, Liam says he's not extroverted at all, so you will never expect him at a party. It obviously sucks that in this game, not talking a lot means you are suspicious. Parker had the same accusations towards him, and now Sebastian. He doesn't want to vote out other quiet people unless there's other reasons for them being traitors. Back with the group, Devin says that they need to make this move on Sebastian if they want to get more information on who it is. Clara says that quite frankly, voting out Sebastian doesn't give them much other information. If he ends up a traitor, great. If not, they are back to square one. Devin shrugs and says that's the case for everyone, so at this point, they will just have to gamble and hope for the best. In the gym room, Brandon finds Theo working out and Theo immediately asks him if anyone is outside the room, and Brandon says no. Theo stops working out and tells Brandon that they need to lock in a final 2 together to become stronger. In confessional, Theo says that locking in a final 2 with Brandon will hopefully build trust with him, and if danger approaches, Brandon can take a hit for him. Krista and Gianna on the other hand seem like they are playing an individual traitor game, so Brandon seems more likely to get manipulated by him. Back in the room, Brandon tells Theo that he's willing to go super far with him, but he also wants to make sure Krista and Gianna get far too. As soon as the numbers dwindle on their team, recruitments might need to occur, meaning there might be less loyalty within the team. Theo agrees and says that they will have to see how things play out from here on out. Fee then enters the room, interrupting their conversation, and Theo welcomes him in. He tells Fee that they were discussing possible traitors, and one name in mind was Archer. Fee says that Archer's name is floating around quite a bit, but he's also starting to think Janine is the traitor who murdered her best friend to keep suspicion off of herself. In confessional, Fee says he's convinced at this point that Janine is a traitor. She's becoming more and more obvious as the days go on, so the goal for him is to make sure she gets banished as soon as possible. In the meantime, Krista, Winston, Archer, and Mari have a discussion about this theory that Janine is a traitor who murdered her best friend. Krista and Mari both seem convinced that it's her, but Archer tells them that he really doesn't think Janine would be okay with that if she was a traitor. Peggy was her only number in this game after all. Krista says that Janine isn't a smart game player, so a murder like this would make sense from her. In confessional, Krista says she really wants to come off as a dumb faithful. If they can banish Janine tonight, everyone will see she's a faithful, meaning anyone who pushed real hard for her comes off as a dumb faithful rather than a traitor. Back with the group, Mari tells Archer that he needs to come up with other names if he's going to defend Janine. Archer responds that he's not necessarily defending Janine, but he's trying to think about all possible options. He truly thinks Janine might be set up to look like a traitor, but she isn't. Mari becomes frustrated with Archer, asking him to spill another name in that case because he's still not giving them anything, and Archer says Russell's name. He has been trying to push for his own name purely because of his archetype as a quote-unquote game bot, which is an easy excuse to come from a traitor. In his confessional though, Archer has this very strange feeling that Mari and Krista are both traitors, and Krista is doing her best to protect Mari, who seems to be in a lot of hot water lately. It's evident they are the biggest push for Janine to go, and they are likely doing that because Janine and Peggy have both accused Mari of being a traitor at one point. Mari already killed Peggy, and now she just needs to get rid of Janine. He'll have to save this information for later, if he's ever going to need to use it. It's now the time we get to the faithful crown ceremony once again. Everyone sits outside, waiting for further instructions. It's then found out that this is yet another regular ceremony, meaning anyone who would like to nominate themselves for the shield will need to stand up after the countdown. However, they will not be able to vote at tonight's banishment. Nobody has anything to say, so the countdown goes quickly, and 9 people stand up. Gabby, Gianna, Brandon, Colleen, Krista, Liam, Minnie Marie, Winston, and Sebastian. In confessional, Minnie Marie says she doesn't want to have a vote tonight simply because people are already upset with her incorrect theory last night, so she wants to stay out of any drama tonight. Before the others vote, the nominees can choose to speak up and say something before the decision is made. Gabby goes first, simply stating that she would love to get another shield to protect herself tonight because she might come off as the most faithful to them. Gianna then speaks up next, saying that she just wants to make the traitors nervous if they ever decided to take a shot at her tonight. Winston says the same, but he of course still wants people to consider voting him because he has brought a bit of good insight in the game so far. With that, the other 12 players vote in secret for who they would like to give the shield to. In confessional, Theo says that he obviously doesn't want a faithful to get the shield, so his vote will need to go to Brandon, one of his teammates. In another confessional, Franco says that there's no doubt Gabby is getting his vote because he trusts her the most. In another, Devin says that there's no way Sebastian and Minnie Marie will get his vote. In fact, them nominating themselves puts a bigger target on their backs because they obviously wouldn't get murdered by the traitors right now. Instead, he'll be voting Gianna because she does seem very innocent right now. In another confessional, Fee claims he's voting Gianna, and in another with Janine, she says that Gabby is probably the safest option for the shield since there's not much suspicion around her. After all 12 players vote, the result is of course left hidden from the players. What they do not know is that the vote ended in a tie, with 5 votes on Gabby and Gianna, and then 1 vote Brandon and 1 vote Winston. Due to the tie, nobody has received a shield, but neither faction will know of this. With there being time before the next banishment, the 21 players are let loose in the castle so the conversations can commence. In the library, Liam, Devin, Gabby, and Archer chat, and both Liam and Gabby claim they didn't get the shield. Liam says that he was hoping he would get it because he hates feeling worried at night. Gabby says the same, though she had the shield last time so having it again would have been extra nice for her. In confessional, Gabby feels really worried now that she doesn't have the shield. She could be an easy kill for the traitors simply because people trust her, but there's still a chance she survives because the traitors might not attack any of the nominees, just for a guaranteed kill on someone from the other 12. In the room, Archer asks Devin if he knows who he'll vote tonight, and Devin says he actually does, and is confident to say that Sebastian is a traitor. It's just the fact that he had a trio with him and Neymar, yet he never lifted a finger to save Neymar last night. He remained quiet, as if he was just alright with her getting banished. In confessional, Devin says that tonight is the night to banish Sebastian. He is most likely a traitor based on how he failed their alliance with Neymar. Even if he's not a traitor, he deserves to go home for letting down their trio. Archer then says that he's more convinced that it's Mari because she has already gotten heat for so long. Gabby agrees that Mari is a lot of work, and she's seemingly stressed out whenever someone says her name. She lashes out at them and deflects whenever someone accuses her. It's something they should heavily consider when voting tonight. Later in the hallway, Mari talks with Brandon, telling him that she finds him the most level-headed right now. In confessional, Mari says that a lot of people are going crazy in this castle already, including herself a little bit. However, Brandon is someone she really likes to have around, so she wants to have game discussions with him more often. Brandon tells Mari that he understands she dislikes Janine, but asks her if she really thinks Janine is a traitor. Mari says of course. She said Janine's name right away this morning, putting the pieces together and realizing it's her. Right after, Janine walks by, and then she stands behind a wall to eavesdrop on Mari and Brandon. However, the floor creaks a little bit, so Mari and Brandon realize she's still there. Mari walks over to her and sees her, and they both stare at each other really awkwardly. Janine then walks off without a word, and Mari rolls her eyes. She then turns to Brandon and says that she has got to go. She's sick of her ugly presence. Outside, Winston, Gabby, Devin, and Gianna are together, and Gabby brings up Devin's thought of Sebastian being the traitor. She asks Winston and Gianna for their thoughts, and Winston says that his name wasn't the first on his mind. He thinks Mari or Janine would be a safer bet. Gianna agrees, though Sebastian wouldn't be a bad guess either since he only speaks on his thoughts whenever he's forced to. He doesn't give much to the group. In confessional, Gianna says that Sebastian getting banished tonight might be the most ideal play for the Traitors team. He's the last person she thought people would suspect, so leaving the more suspicious people in the game like Janine, Mari, and Archer would be better. With time slowly running out for the players, Theo, Liam, Sebastian, and Parker all link up in the gym room, discussing the possible suspects right now. Parker says that Franco is definitely on his suspect list, but not as much as some other people right now like Mari and Archer. Liam mentions that Archer actually said Mari's name a lot in previous conversations, and he actually agrees that it could be her. Theo thinks that Mari might be the best person to vote out since it'll confirm more things for the faithful. If she's a faithful herself, Janine is probably the next biggest suspect. In confessional, Sebastian says that he feels really good going into tonight's round table. It seems Mari, Janine, and Archer will be in the hot seat. With only 12 votes, who knows what will go down? There will be more than 12 opinions, so things could get really messy. The moon has now risen, which is a perfect time to get to the next banishment. With the players already seated, they will have time to discuss amongst each other in a moment. After some time, the 12 players who did not nominate themselves for the shield will get to vote to banish. Those 12 voting are Archer, Russell, Devin, Morel, Parker, Janine, Holly, Franco, Mari, Theo, Clara, and Fee. The players are now allowed to speak, so Clara asks if anyone would like to start with a possible suspect. Mari says that she can go first. She is pretty certain at this point that Janine is a traitor and will be getting her vote tonight. Janine rolls her eyes in response, stating out loud that everyone is shocked about her suspicion of her. Mari continues, mentioning that her theory this morning makes a lot of sense. Janine was Peggy's best friend, so by Janine killing her, it makes her look more innocent. Plus, Janine is going around the castle eavesdropping on conversations. She literally caught Janine trying to listen to her chat with Brandon, and she just simply walked away without a word. Janine says that she only tried listening to her conversation because it's quite literally her we're talking about. She says that Mari has never been trustworthy, so she was just curious to hear if maybe Brandon was her traitor partner or not. Brandon tells Janine not to bring his own name into this. Janine says she's not and was just bringing up an example of something that could have happened. Mari tells Janine that her time will be over in this castle because she's so bad at this game, and Janine snaps back, telling Mari she needs to go fix up her face because her eyes are watering the more she looks at her. Mari throws up the middle finger, and Gabby asks if they can all change the topic now. She knows there are a few more names in the mix, so Archer then says that he also had Mari on his suspect list. Additionally, he actually thinks Krista could be a traitor partner of hers. So if Mari is confirmed to be a traitor, Krista would most definitely be a top suspect. Krista is stunned, asking him for reasons. He says that she's Mari's main defender. She's supporting anything Mari says, including the Janine theory. Janine's eyes light up and she begins nodding slowly, stunned that Krista is also saying her name. Krista then says that she only defended Mari because she didn't agree with any points Janine brought up about her, and not only her, but Morel as well. Janine sneaks in a comment that she actually made up with Morel, but tells her to go on. The room goes silent for a moment after that comment, and Krista decides to continue. She thinks Mari is legitimately a faithful that has been randomly jumped by Peggy day one for no real reason. As for the Janine theory, it makes a lot of sense to her. She asks if anyone else would like to state any other good theories, and Gabby brings up that Devin had an interesting one. Devin says he would be glad to explain his own theory. He says that Sebastian is definitely on his radar after last night's banishment. Sebastian remains quiet, though he's shocked on the inside. Devin says that Neymar, Sebastian, and himself formed a trusty trio that would have each other's backs, but when Neymar was in the hot seat, Sebastian never said a word to defend her, almost like he's only thinking of himself. That's essentially a traitor strategy. Parker asks Sebastian if he'd like to defend himself, and Sebastian says that he's actually quite surprised his name is coming up tonight. He feels like he didn't do anything wrong to be suspected. This whole Neymar drama doesn't make sense to him because he genuinely didn't know what he could say last night to save her. He obviously did not want her to go home. It was Theo's decision though. Devin says that he just expected him to say something. Gianna then adds that she actually thinks Sebastian could do more for the faithful team because he never provides any useful information to the team. Sebastian says there's literally nothing he can say that hasn't been brought up by someone else, but Gianna says that literally any opinion, small or big, can help the team out. If he's quiet, they can't gauge whether he's truly faithful or not. Mari also adds that this goes for all the quiet people. She lists Liam and Fee as another two that she has no information from. Fee says he actually told some people he thinks Janine is the traitor, and then Liam apologizes that he's really quiet. He's naturally a quieter personality, so he's trying to fit in with these big groups. It's just really tough for him. He doesn't know what to say and when to say things. Holly says that it just doesn't feel right that people are hammering the quiet ones so much. She doesn't think people like Liam and Fee should be forced to speak up more. They might be able to shine more later down the line, but Mari tells Holly that it matters a lot because there's no way to know if they are faithful or not. They need to share their own thoughts so people can judge them at the banishments. With the time now running out, the players have to prepare for the vote. With that, the 12 players who are voting begin writing down a name on their slate. After that, Janine is asked to reveal her vote first. She reveals that she voted Mari because she has been a suspect since day one based on her weird interactions with people. Holly then goes next and reveals that her vote is for Mari as well. She has a big voice at these round tables, but the information is pretty useless for the most part, almost as if she's just saying whatever she can to get the target off of her back. Franco is next, and he reveals his vote for Parker. He wants to go with his own thoughts, and although he didn't get a chance to bring up his name, he's doing it now to see what people think afterwards. He just has this gut feeling it's him based on the lack of useful information he brings to the group and the hiding of his personal life, almost like he has an occupation or fact about himself that he wants to hide from everyone. Mari goes next, saying she's actually flipping her vote to Sebastian because she's starting to think that the quieter people need to speak up more, and Sebastian is one of them. Theo goes next, and he reveals his vote for Mari as he believes she's way too vocal these last few rounds, and she seems really anxious half the time. With that, the vote currently stands at 3 votes Mari, 1 vote Parker, and 1 vote Sebastian. 7 votes remain. Clara is next, and she says that she has sadly voted Sebastian because Devin's theory sounds the most clear to her, so for that reason, she'd like to see if he's actually a traitor or not. Fee goes next, and he reveals that he's voting for Janine because she's really disrespectful, and traitors are evil, so therefore she's really struggling to be nice around here. Archer is next, and he reveals that he's actually voting Krista tonight rather than Mari because after hearing Krista's defense, he feels more comfortable about voting her than Mari based on the level of suspicion he's getting from her. We currently stand at 3 votes Mari, 2 votes Sebastian, 1 vote Parker, 1 vote Janine, and 1 vote Krista. 4 remain. Russell is next and apologizes as he voted Sebastian. He seems really sweet, but like other people said, he's just not giving much to the faithful team. We're now tied at 3 votes Mari, 3 votes Sebastian. Devin is next, and he of course voted Sebastian. He's sticking to his theory that Sebastian is thinking selfishly, something a traitor would do. It's now 4 votes Sebastian, 3 votes Mari. 1 more for Sebastian, and he goes home. Morel goes next, and she says that after hearing what had to be said, she feels the most comfortable voting Sebastian tonight. He's just too much of a wild card, so therefore she'd like to see him go. With that, Sebastian has been banished, but we need to see how Parker voted. Parker says he voted Mari because she's acting very strangely now compared to day 1 where she seemed pretty calm and collective, despite her getting called out by Peggy. But now, she's crumbling under pressure. So with 5 votes Sebastian, he is the next player banished from the castle. He is asked to get up and head to the front of the room, and Devon leans on his table, hoping he's right. Sebastian stands at the front and says that it's sad his journey ended so soon, but he's happy he got to play in the first place. Some people were disappointed in him being quiet, but quite frankly, he's proud of himself because he didn't act fake at any moment in this game. He was real from the start, and of course, that means he is indeed faithful. The whole room is now restless after hearing they got the wrong person, and Mari starts throwing out curse words. Janine flicks her hair and calls the Sebastian voters brainwashed. Sebastian heads out, leaving the room really tense. Devon says he refuses to apologize because his reasons were valid. Mari then says that there's a reason they need the quiet people to talk more. Holly jumps Mari though, telling her that it's not fair to accuse the people who are quiet. They literally just found out Sebastian was faithful, so they are looking into the wrong direction. Mari still says that she needs Liam and Fee and any other quiet people to speak up because it's genuinely hard to get a read on them when they don't offer anything. In confessional, Mari says that she's sick and tired of people defending the quiet ones. It's like they'd rather keep quiet people and take their chances that they are faithful, when in reality, you can't be sure at all because they never offer anything. At this rate, she wouldn't be shocked if she's targeted again tomorrow since she barely got away with this vote. With there being some time before it's time to head for bed, Fee, Archer, Parker, Theo, and Russell all chat in the same room, and Parker says that it's not fair whatsoever for people to vote just based on who is talking the least. It's not getting the faithful anywhere. In confessional, Parker says that he's over the stupidity from Mari. He actually doesn't think she's a traitor anymore, but she needs to stop using her dumb logic from now on if she expects to survive. Archer says that he truly thinks Krista is a traitor, and Mari less so. Theo says he doesn't really have an opinion on that because he never thought about Krista being a traitor. He's still a bit off about Mari, but even she's starting to seem more like a dumb faithful instead of a traitor. Russell says that he's just glad Holly spoke up against Mari because someone needed to humble that lady. She did way too much at the table. Fee agrees and says he didn't appreciate her words. In confessional, Theo says that he's feeling really nervous about Krista's name being brought up. It's now seeming like Mari is less of a suspect for people. Krista isn't a huge suspect just yet, but it will continue going up if Archer spreads more seeds of doubt in people's minds. In the bar, a bunch of people stand around as Janine tells them that tonight should have confirmed that nobody should listen to Mari. She's either a traitor or a horrible faithful, so basically they have no reason to trust her theories anyway. Krista says that she's just shocked that Archer would throw her name out for somewhat defending Mari. Janine tells Krista she's actually shocked she thinks it's her because she never brought that up before. Krista tells Janine that she just thought Mari's theory was valid, but then she never even voted her, which makes her really confused now. Janine suggests to her not to listen to Mari ever again in that case. In confessional, Krista is of course not cool with Archer throwing her name out at the round table. She's very concerned because the longer he stays, the more likely he is to get her out. He is a gamer after all, so he knows so many strategies behind a game like this. Back in the room, Clara tells everyone to get some rest. She wishes them luck at the murder. Holly agrees and hopes to see this group alive. With it being time now to head to bed, everyone is heading to their individual bedrooms, unsure if they will survive the night. Nobody has a shield currently, though nobody knows this. For now, all we know is that the traitors will most definitely get a murder down tonight. It's just a question of who they will attack. In the traitor turret, all 4 traitors enter the room and stand in place with their hoodies on. They unveil their hoodies soon after and all breathe out heavily. Krista says that she did not like that round table at all. Gianna says she felt really nervous for her. Krista says that Archer is way too smart in this game. He's slowly catching on to their entire team. First with Theo, and now with her. Soon, he might even clock Gianna and Brandon. This is why she thinks Archer should be their main priority to kill off. It comes with a risk, of course, in that people will find it fishy that he died after saying her name, but at the same time, there are a lot of other targets at the moment, and she can simply tell people she's getting framed for Archer getting killed, similarly to the Dasmian death getting Neymar voted out. Brandon offers another approach to tonight though. He feels like they need to get rid of a smart player who hasn't said too much yet, or who has said the wrong name. Clara has been on his mind lately because she knows when to speak up, and she's not an erratic player like many others. By getting her out, nobody will know who did it because she doesn't have many ties to anyone. Theo then suggests another name. He thinks they could kill Holly and put the blame on Mari even more. People are starting to suspect her less and less, which is bad for Krista. Therefore, Holly gets killed and the blame is pinned on Mari. But Krista says she doubts that'll work. People will think she's getting framed. That's why she wants Archer dead, because more people will assume she didn't kill him. Gianna asks if they are considering Gabby tonight, but all 3 say no. Theo says it's too risky as she might have the shield. They shouldn't kill any of the people who nominated themselves for the shield. They need to confirm a kill tonight. With that, all 4 agree on one name, and it's between Archer, Clara, and Holly. They throw their scroll into the hole in front of them and tell each other good luck going into tomorrow. In confessional, Krista feels like tonight might be the first night she's feeling off about Theo. He seems really self-interested all of a sudden, which is worrying her. She needs him to work with her, and so far, he's not agreeing with a lot of her ideas that would protect her from getting banished.